So let me state that Eminem was my first introduction to hip hop when I was 10 years old. The first album of his I heard was his greatest hits, and the first physical copy I owned was Recovery. For a very, very long time, I've considered Eminem to be the best rapper of all time. Now he's number 8 on my list. Yeah, I didn't like the Music to Be Murdered By albums. Kamikaze was okay, and there are a lot of features and soundtracks he made in recent years had some very corny punchlines and could be very lyrical miracle. Now, despite this, Eminem will forever be my personal favorite rapper, and I end up listening to him more often than any other artist. I mean, out of all the great rappers in the world, being in the top 10 is not out of nowhere. He is a very talented man, with most of his work being amazing lyricism, heart-crushing emotional expression, wordplay that is clever as hell, and incredible storytelling. He can give insightful commentary, be inspirational, and often is funny as hell, even when dealing with dark subject matter. Dark humor is my favorite form of humor. So let's get through the top 10 best Eminem songs. Number 10 is Bad Meets Evil. So this song is a perfect example of some shady. And with Royce da 5'9's help, both of them make a ton of good dark jokes and some little short stories that have awesome lyricism. There's a lot of good wordplay here. My flavor is similar to a waiter cause I serve any stranger with money. And yes, I know that it's a Royce da 5'9 lyric. I'm just saying it's a good example of how clever this song gets. Eminem is funny as hell in this song, and there's not much to say about good comedy, other than it's one good joke after another, with an impressive rhyme scheme. Now, if I did a best Bad Meets Evil songs, I have to use any song Royce and Eminem work together on. While the Welcome in Hell album is good, it just has a few songs that are a 4 out of 5, and one song that is a 3 out of 5. Yeah, I need a song to be a 5 out of 5 if I'm gonna put it on a best of list. You feel me? I mean, that's unless you want me to do a top 7 best rap songs under the name Bad Meets Evil. My opinion on Vegas, Raw, All I Think About have changed in the years. Also, another thing that has changed through the years is this video, and you may see some recent shorts that have a different list than this. Well, I based those shorts on that old video, but I'm very confident in this list right now. Number 9 is 97 Bonnie and Clyde. This song was on my top 10 best horrorcore video, and it is still in my top 10 horrorcore songs. For those who don't know, horrorcore is a subgenre in rap music that put horror within the lyricism, and it's my favorite subgenre in hip-hop. Unfortunately, most of the artists that do it are like Insane Clown Posse, where they just talk about basic stabbing and edgelord dark humor, with nothing to it. Many of these songs don't even have a concept, it's just random murder. Now, there are a few good songs from ICP, Magic Ninja, and Kung Fu Vampire that I listen to because it's good horrorcore. I'm a sucker for horror. But there aren't a lot of good artists who are consistent with making good horror rap. Some of the very few we have are Gravediggers, Immortal Technique, and Eminem. This song is very detailed, and it is an actual story with good imagery. It is very important to have that in a horrorcore song, a song about mental health, and gangster rap. Songs without imagery invoking detail end up being basic shit that anyone can come up with. It makes a song about killing your wife for cheating on you and taking your baby daughter with you to help her dump her body in the ocean even more chilling. It makes for an actual immersive experience with lyrical skill that keeps it from being basic edgelord shit. Number 8 is Going Through Changes. You know how I said that even in a song about mental health, you have to put in the detail to make it work? Yeah, most people seem to have forgotten that. Not to disrespect the dead, but when it comes to songs made by Juice WRLD, XXX, and Lil Peep, they just have surface detailed lyrics that are just rewording the general idea. And this is just something that has been a trend for a long time. Look, you don't get a pass in an art form just because you simply bring up that you're sad. Anyone can write a song about being sad and doing drugs to cope, but only you can get into the nitty gritty of your life. That's the type of stuff that makes a song a rememberable experience, and it gives a larger insight into your life that keeps the audience attention. Also, it's good to have a strong voice instead of one that sounds like you're bored. Eminem is just updating us about his life after being gone for a very long time. Eminem has strong vocal energy in it. He describes how he tries to seem like he is high and mighty, but is actually dying inside. He doesn't acknowledge his pain like a lot of men do. He says that he doesn't want his daughters to see him in a depressed state. He really goes into how he lost his best friend from a shooting, and how it caused him to be a drug addict, even calling the people around him yes men, which is something no other rapper will admit. In this song, he starts ripping apart himself, describing how much he feels like shit. Then he attempts suicide and he barely makes it out alive. In the last verse, he describes how his close brush with death made him reflect on his life, talking about his past sins. Number 7 is Love Game. Look, this song is just funny. There is a funny moment after a funny moment after a funny moment. Now, despite there being many funny lines from the first verse, It isn't that different from many breakup songs, but then you have the second verse with Kendrick Lamar, who takes things to a whole nother level when it comes to storytelling and humor. And what does Eminem do in the last verse? He tops Kendrick's insane storytelling and just gives us more funny moments. Also, the sampling is really good. Number 6 is Sing for the Moment. The song is a jab at politicians who treat hip hop as the reason crime is committed, and is saying that Eminem is a bad influence to teenagers. Number 6 is Sing for the Moment. This song is a jab at politicians who treat hip hop as the reason crime is committed, and many of them like to point the finger at Eminem. This song doesn't say that music has no impact, but to blame artists for other people's actions is stupid. It is also white American bigotry, targeting a mostly black genre that is popular. Also, there's an amazing sample in this song. Number 5, Rock Bottom. Again, heartbreaking detail really makes this song awesome. Minimum wage got my adrenaline in a cage, full of venom and rage, especially when I'm engaged, and my daughter's down to her last diaper. Minimum wage has always been a killer. That's rock bottom, when you feel like you've had it up to here because you're mad enough to scream, but you're sad enough to tear. I know everyone who's lived in poverty is just feeling that line very, very hard. My daughter wants to draw the ball, but I'm too stressed to play. Like, ouch. Number 4, Darkness. So this song wants you to think it's another song in the Eminem trends of, hey guys, being a celebrity can be rough on your mental health. Song that tends to work, but it is why many people say that Eminem's music is sounding the same now. However, when you hear the last verse, you realize all the lyrics you heard in the first and second verse were actually a double entendre of Eminem's suppression and the life of the Las Vegas mass shooter. In it, you realize Eminem probably considered that he might have ended up on the same path if he never got the help that he needed in time. But he doesn't defend the actions of the shooter. He's just shook by the idea that he probably could have done the same thing since his and the shooter's lives were very similar. Also, the detail he gives really lets the gun control aspect really work. Finger on the trigger, but I'm a licensed owner with no prior convictions. So law says the sky's the limit. So my supply's infinite, strapped like I'm a soldier. Seriously, everyday people don't need to be having as many weapons as that motherfucker did. The Second Amendment brings up a well-regulated militia. This shit is not well-regulated, no matter how hard y'all try to twist the idea of what well-regulated means. And y'all are definitely trying to twist it. But if you'd like to know the reason why I did this, you'll never find a motive. Truth is, I have no idea. I am just a stump, no signs of mental illness. And yet, the shooter had no record of having mental illness. And the thing is, all someone needs to be is an asshole that is very stressed out and is in a divided country that is willing to give weapons to anyone like it's just nothing. How does that sound good to y'all? Especially since the song ends with tons of news reports about mass shootings, which is just chilling. Also, the sampling's really good. Number 3, you have Lose Yourself. Everyone knows that this song is inspirational as hell. Eminem digs into his insecurities and rips them apart, and also describes where the fire in his belly comes from. Also, it's his best usage of multi-syllable rhyme schemes. Also, it does something that soundtrack songs don't do anymore. He raps from the perspective of the character in the movie. Hell, many soundtrack songs today don't even have anything to do with the movie, outside of the title. Number 2 is Stan. I put this song on my top 10 best horrorcore video. It's a song that really makes a great point about why you shouldn't be an over-the-top fan of anyone. It describes the consequences of obsessing of someone, especially a celebrity that you don't actually know. Stan isn't just some random guy who heard a song and is like, you know what, I'm gonna kill my wife who's pregnant. He has always had trauma that has been deep into his childhood. And he felt like the only cure to that was Eminem's music. He connected to Eminem so much because both of them had a very similar life. So when Eminem doesn't respond to any of the multiple letters that he sent to him, Stan snaps because he feels like the only guy who could relate to him couldn't give a shit about him. So when Eminem does respond, he just has this optimistic attitude, which really makes the song a lot more chilling. It also shows Eminem maybe feeling kinda guilty of mixing his songs with crazy ideas and actual emotional strength. Number 1 is Bad Guy. I put this song on my best horrorcore video. Now I need you guys to do something at some point. If you truly want to enjoy the Marshall Mathers LP2, you have to listen to the first album and then go right to the second one. It wasn't like the Carter series where there's no actual connection, no reoccurring theme. It's just something that could be on any other album. The Marshall Mathers LP2 is an actual sequel that describes how his career and his life in general has changed throughout the years. Then in the last verse, Eminem looks over his career with regret for making a career off of so much hatred. I also represent anyone on the receiving end of those jokes you offend. I'm the nightmare you fell asleep and then woke up still in. I'm your karma closing in with each stroke of a pen. Perfect time to have some remorse for your sin. I'm the bullies you hate that you became, with every F slur you slaughter coming back on ya, every woman you insult, battered, but the double standard you have when it comes to your daughters, I represent everything you take for granted. Like Jesus Christ. So anyways, I want to thank you all for watching and to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, despite the technical difficulties. And yes, most of these songs are not old school Eminem, but I don't base quality on a decade, but by the individual song.